Cody here, seven high-level coach for seven-figure agencies.
And I'm Days, a fractional COO and AI operator.
And I'm Dominic from Bots at Work. We're an AI chatbot specialist.
All right, so for this first episode, I wanted to call this Bridging the Gap, West to East, US to Philippines. So was really honestly wondering why I thought of having this podcast, right? So if you're gonna ask me, given how we've seen, given how we've seen the Philippines, let's not even get deeper. You know what I mean? But at the same time, as us, we've been business owners. We've also been doing freelancing for quite some time, and most of our clients are also from the U.S. So I thought of why not bridge that gap? Because it's kind of interesting that how come we have the Filipino talent, we keep on serving them. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to serve both countries, but there's still a difference. So I guess that's one huge thing what I thought of this podcast. So
What about us? Yeah, our perspective. Like
yeah,
why we said yes probably to this
yeah, I guess.
podcast. Well, for me as an fractional COO and OBM, so I have my own community and students, and I work with clients locally and internationally. And with AI coming into the space, I really am seeing the sudden shift, the fear that sometimes comes along with the implementation of it, the resistance even, not just internationally, but also locally. And I also see the gap of my Filipino counterparts, like fellow OBMs, fellow students, fellow freelancers in general, regardless of what skill actually, and more so, the traditional business owners who's not so well versed when it comes to digital trends and technology. And I do feel that having a place that they could go to, maybe weekly, monthly, that they could listen about how actual businesses, how actual business owners, how actual service providers are able to make the shift and transition slowly with AI and automations and operations in general would be something that would be really valuable.
Right, right.
How about you, Kuya
Yeah,
Dobbs?
well, for me, personally, I'd like Filipinos to experience more how to use AI for their business.
Right.
Since we're in the AI chatbot agency, um, and it started in 2021, but right now I've noticed that they've just been adopting AI chatbots for their business, and this started back in 2021 or 2018 actually. And with AI right now, I think most Filipino business owners are still lagging
Right.
behind with this. So with this podcast, I think it's an opportunity to spread the message on and
Right.
teach Filipinos how to use AI for their business.
Yeah. If I may ask, what were the numbers that you've shared earlier before?
Yeah. So finally, I was looking at the research. Filipinos individually, uh, Filipinos are leading actually with the use of AI. They are heavily using AI for experimenting, but for business owners, for firms, only 14.9% are using or adopting
Actively.
AI for their business.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Those are interesting numbers. And you know what? I've worked closely both with US agencies. They're honestly my main market. As a matter of fact, within this podcast, we will be also inviting US agency owners because, again, the idea here is to basically bridge the gap or
Yeah.
bring in whatever we've been learning from the West, going to the East, or from the US, going to UK, then going to the Philippines. So it's very interesting that people do really know AI, but it's a matter of maybe how to monetize it or even deploying their experimental work, deploying it with real business owners. So as I was mentioning earlier, I used to service clients from the U.S., but I've also been a part of Filipino communities, and it's interesting enough because um, the I would say like the appreciation of a traditional Filipino business owner is not similar to how things are in the US basically. So I guess that's a part of a huge part of the goal for this podcast. It's not about selling a service, an AI on our automation service, but a big or huge goal for this podcast is to keep on educating, to keep on inculcating traditional business owners that AI and automation's out there. So our group has been, very, very into digital. We're into digital transformation and content or basically topics that we will be discussing within this podcast would be a great help for Filipino business owners. And at the same time, because I'm also kind of thinking that this show would also be potentially reach U.S. agency owners as well. It's like a hand in hand thing because most of the time when we talk about outsourcing of U.S. agencies, they also look for Filipino talent. So imagine
Right.
that bridge, imagine that crossover, which this podcast would be able to offer, right? So it's like a win-win thing actually.
Actually, if I could just add with the numbers, because I've recently read the report by McKinsey, and in terms and also to also ground things, I feel like when it comes to like the value that our podcast can bring to our audience is that what I read there on that report is when it comes to because when you think of AI implementation, AI adaptation, it's like too fancy, too technical, and the challenge really is like we also need to understand how businesses are using AI adaptation into their businesses in
Right.
terms of the scale. Because I read there on that report that like big scale companies like corporate level, they're mostly using AI for big data gathering and analysis, while SMEs and smaller businesses, which I think majority of our audience are going to be mostly be about, they're really focusing on quick wins and efficiency gains. So that's where I think a lot of people are lost right now, and that's why I think a lot of value can be gained from what we'll be sharing in this podcast as well.
Right. Because I think a lot of SME business owners are really afraid
Yeah.
of how much would this
Yes.
AI investment would be.
Actually,
Because
right.
it
Correct.
they might fear that it's very expensive or very costly, and they don't know also what are the tools that they should be starting with.
Agree.
I agree. Yeah, that's a part of the limiting belief, I think, for Filipinos. I mean, we cannot blame them. Maybe that maybe the mindset, or again, they're traditional. So there's also tons of traditional businesses. These are second, third gen. And back then, technology, I mean, way back like 50s, 60s, 70s, technology was not strong.
Yeah.
So most likely, these second or third generation businesses would be able to somehow get information. Our goal here is to really break that barrier, to kind of break that barrier in terms of that limiting belief. The technology is not really. It may be costly at first. It is. Like every businesses, there's always investments, right? However, thinking long term, instead of like hiring additional people for 15 to 20K per month doing admin work, you might as well just invest in automations. And of course, train the other admin people to be better, to be more strategic, to be more into maybe people management, something to that effect. So at least I mean, yeah, at some point, AI automations can remove jobs. It's two perspectives for me, honestly. True enough, and sad enough, it can really remove jobs. But at the same time, it can also be an opportunity for a business to be much more streamlined, but also an opportunity for the current people doing administrative work to take on additional high level work, basically. So that's at least my thinking about it.
Agree.
do you
Just to
think?
bank on the notion, at least the overall perspective coming into this is a mix of fear, anxiety, and excitement. So to again encourage our listeners and viewers, again going back to that report that I read, it says there that yes, Kuya Dom said it very well. A lot of businesses are worried. Okay, how soon can we get ROI on this investment? But at the same time, the service providers, the employees, they're worried about. Okay, is AI gonna replace my job? And what I read there on that report is that only about like a lot of businesses are in the what do you call that pilot stage. So they're really testing and testing, seeing what work. And of that 88% that was able to implement AI into their business, at least testing wise, only 13% have scaled. So the encouragement there, and hopefully to make everyone feel excited and hopeful and optimistic, is that we're really not too late. We have more than enough time to actually explore and test. If you are part of a business, you are an operations person, or you're a team member, just suggest actively encouraging everyone to use AI because it really starts there. So it's not too late, guys. Just go ahead and test. But the trend is in 2026, there will slowly, like the what do you call this, the arrival or the arrival of industry-specific AI tools will slowly start to emerge because they're done with the testing in 2025. So maybe latter 2026 or early 2027, but then, so it's more the encouragement to also start testing na.
That's interesting.
Yes.
All right. So, how about you, Kuya Dums? Like, last thoughts for Filipino? Because later I wanted to also quickly touch. We might also have like U.S. agencies.
Yeah.
Right? And I wanted to discuss
Yes.
that quickly for Filipino companies, though. What are or I mean, Filipino companies, freelancers? What are other thoughts that you still got?
Well, I think I just wanted to share about the levels of AI right now because since Dace mentioned that uh, in 2026 there'll be more niched AI tools already available. So I've watched this before in Mind Valley. They had an AI summit there, and um, one thing that they discussed is there are 5 levels of AI. So the first level is it's more of this the what we have right now, the generative AI.
Yeah.
If you're not using this, I mean, if you're not maximizing AI right now, your company would not be able to catch up when the tools for level 5 are already there. So if next year the niche tools for AI are already coming, better use them. I mean, better start with the level 1 tools right now. So if, for example, the chatbots right now, they're the most basic AI tools that we have right now, and most businesses would definitely benefit from this,
Yeah.
using this on their business. And of course, ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, they should be playing around with these tools already if they want to catch up to this, I mean, to the speed of the levels of AI right now.
I see. I wanted to cover that niche-based AI
AI
tool.
tools.
So the reason behind that, because as you guys may have known, also some of the viewers or future viewers. So I've worked with this community. We're a joint venture partner where we offer or where we provide automations and AI services. So we use the tool called High Level. It's a pretty known tool, or a pretty known CRM, basically, where we partner as white label AI and automations provider for this digital marketing agencies. So meaning if an agency from the seven-figure community either needs help on their internal automations, building internal AI-driven system, we can help. We can help that. At the same time, if they need, because these guys are digital marketers for different niches. So I've got an agency client who's servicing asphalt contractors. These guys will be our future guests, by the way. I also have a marketing agency for lawyers, for example.
Very diverse.
Yeah, so and we do the white label stuff. We basically are the AI automations part of their agency. I got really curious. Can you? I'm not sure how deep you've done the research, but that's a very very strong use case for a marketing agency, uh, or an AI and automations agency partnering with marketing agency who were taught to actually niche from the start. So again, marketing agency for lawyers, another marketing agency for asphalt contractors. And true enough, niching is very important because the processes, the sales, the needs of trade services, home services are different from medical, are different
Yeah.
from,
Exactly.
Can you tell me more about
Yeah.
that?
I do have a
um,
little.
that niche-based AI tool. How does that work? It's honestly the first time that I've heard of
Oh,
it.
okay. Well, at least I'm basing this all from that report that I've read.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's true. A lot, 88% of businesses are implementing AI, and they're really doing a lot of pilots. But in terms of the effectiveness and the transformation that we all desire to get from AI and automation and all these tools, it says there on that report that ultimately for the AI to really make an impact, and this is where niching comes in, yes, we could use off-the-shelf solutions like JHL, ClickUp Workspace, Notion, bots, and all those like what's that? Make, Relay, and all those things. We could use them. However, for true transformation to happen, it still would depend on the level of customization of the AI. So meaning, the AI system that you're going to build should be able to really understand the internal workflows of that business, um, the data and analytics of that business, and also understand the people dynamics and culture of that business for it to truly have an impact. So it's still grounding on customization in terms of that business and then just leveraging certain tools. So once you've understand those three elements, again, internal workflows, data and analytics, people and culture dynamics, once you understood that or train the AI to understand that, then you could then decide, okay, what tools do we actually custom build, no code, or just off the shelf solutions?
What are your thoughts about that? Kuya Dom?
Well, right now, since we've been trying to reach out to lawyers also
Yeah.
and aesthetic agencies in the US, I've noticed based on my market research that there are also some tools that are very customized. I mean, are already built for these markets. So, for example, for lawyers, they have an intake that they're using for specifically for lawyers in the U.S. And then uh, they're built specifically also for U.S. I mean, so you just feed the knowledge base there about your company, and
I
then
think I saw that.
they train the AI there, and then
Right.
it will work perfectly fine for that market.
Nice. Right. Okay, that's great. So you know what? I've just realized we're still in the early stage, honestly.
Yeah,
Like, what I
definitely.
was even thinking is that let's learn it, let's teach it, and also so the same framework, the same ecosystem. Even though we've got our own clients already,
Yes.
right? We can even deploy these to our clients. Even create a case study from those new frameworks, AI and automations framework. Especially, I really got interested with that CRM or that niche based, not CRM, but niche based AI framework. So we do that with our clients. We learn it. We also
Yeah.
teach it. And what's interesting is that even agency owners in the U.S. So do not get me wrong. We've been always talking about why is it that U.S. is quicker, U.S. is faster, but like in a reality, um, there are well, funny enough, there is a small percentage of Filipino business owners that also starts AI and automations. Maybe they are digital agencies as well, but in the U.S., true enough that there's still a huge gap, because a journey or an automations AI or operations journey of an agency making 70K to 100K monthly recurring is also different, obviously, for that still starting. So basically, if an agency is 10K, 15 to 20K MRR month after month, there's still a huge need, basically. So yeah, there's just tons of opportunities, tons of things to learn. We're already on that. Before I remember, way back pandemic, um, at least we've been doing freelancing even before pandemic, right? We know
Yes.
digital marketing, we know
Yeah.
virtual assistants, but during pandemic, I think we were also early adopters at some point
Yeah.
as digital remote workers, because we've been doing it like 4 years before the pandemic. But when pandemic hit, um,
Everybody.
it's really everyone has to learn it because everyone's at home,
Yeah. It sort of
right?
became a like level, like what do you call that, level playing field for everyone.
It
Right,
was. It
Yes.
right.
was. It was. And what's interesting here is that AI is very, very new. The same way that way back pandemic. I'm not saying that digital stuff is new in pandemic, but at least the awareness of
Yeah, it
people,
was really
and I
emphasized.
think we should be leveraging that. We should be very quick when it comes to innovation, when it comes to being early adopters.
Yeah,
And then this fast forward 5 to 6 years after the pandemic is where we can become, regardless whether if it's a US agency owner or a Philippine business, we have to be early adopters with AI because I just cannot imagine how technology, how innovation, how AI works, even fast forward to 2028 or 2030. So we're really at the right place, and the podcast really is at the right time. Exactly.
agree.
Right.
And also, since yeah, this is like the perfect opportunity for everyone to be well versed or at least start learning. I wanna just ground some things by maybe we could share some actionable things or tips that we could give to our listeners so that they could
Mm-hmm.
also have something to take away from our podcast episode today. For me, if I could start,
Yeah.
I would say whether you are a freelancer, a solopreneur, agency owner, or a big corporation, I always start with an audit. We know that.
Mm.
So I would suggest if you're the operations person, the owner, the CEO, gather your team and really do um, an AI readiness audit in your organization. And what would that mean is you really just want to identify how AI ready is your company or organization is. So some questions they could probably ask are maybe number one, what are our most, let's just start simple because I know there's a lot of workflows in the business. So maybe start with number one, think of 3 to 5 like business impacting workflows in your business. And then from there, maybe ask the following questions. Number one, how much time does it take us to do this task
Mm.
manually? How many steps? How many team members are doing or working on this task? That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Second question could be, can will utilizing AI actually help us improve this process, make it better, or shorten the time it takes for us to complete this? So ask yourself those little questions, and then again, just choose 3 to 5, and then go from there. And then also just make sure maybe start incorporating what do you call that AI learning sessions, even at least a month, and encourage that culture. So speaking of culture, encourage that culture of just being able to test AI. So like with one of my clients, he really has this new mantra for us that okay, AI first, or when in doubt,
Mm.
create. And he really encourages us to okay, you're stuck with this task. What AI tool? Like how can AI help me with this? And then once we're able to experiment, so encourage that culture of experimentation. It's okay to fail, but on the next meeting, maybe that's just once a month, everybody shares what they did, what they learned, because that's how you encourage everyone just being able to slowly adapt to AI as well.
Right, right. So I think
Any less?
in connection to that, they should be starting with subscribing to just one AI
Yeah.
tool for their business, and then try to feed it with your data, company data,
Yeah.
and just ask about your company. I mean, your questions about your company, your concerns, your challenges, and basically you're just paying $20 for an AI
Yeah.
assistant,
Mhm.
and it could give you a lot of tips,
Mm-mm.
suggestions on how you can solve your problems. And yeah, I think with an AI tool, we were also able to uh, create contracts
Mm.
just to help for our
Mm.
company employees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Yeah. So those are actually interesting points. I was, when it comes to audit, do I have to create like a lead magnet or a quiz funnel? Because I don't mind. Yeah. I mean, for marketing agencies, for tenured freelancers, for US business owners, when I said quiz funnel, I think you guys know what I mean. So yeah, I mean, maybe once we've published this, okay. So I'd rather create one instead. Okay, I'll get my team like create like a quiz funnel. So basically, for those who doesn't really know what a quiz funnel are, is so it's basically like once you've pressed the link, it will ask like questions. You would just need to answer, and after a series of 5 to 10 answers, it will provide you some sort of like a recommendation. So some of you guys may have answered it by clicking a simple YouTube link or YouTube URL. It will talk about your stress, anxiety level. It will talk about your fitness level. So that actually alone, I'm not sure if you guys have encountered that because I encountered that a lot. So yeah, that's actually a sample of quiz funnel. So yeah, maybe once we've published this, that would be ready.
In the show
I
notes.
would assume I'm not gonna invite you to click the link. I'm not sure how that looks like, but yeah, we'll let you know anyway on the copy of this
Yeah, on the
so-called
show notes section.
video. Yeah. So as we close, what do you think is that one message that our listeners can take from this first episode? Days, maybe you could start.
Okay, well, I would say we are in another season of gold rush with the AI industry that's happening now. Well, with the AI, what do you call that? It's not really trend. The AI reality that's happening. So take advantage of that gold rush. So for business owners, CEOs, even for your own work, guys, really do not be afraid. Be excited instead. See the opportunity because if you don't know where to start with your own work. Like in the work that you do, what are the repetitive things that are still there? What are the tasks that takes too much time? Maybe start auditing that. View it in the lens that okay, instead of you doing it and finding solutions, think AI first. Like how can AI help me make this better, more efficient, and then also make me become more productive?
Well, for me, remember what happened during pandemic. Those business owners who are in the digital already, who are already doing digital marketing, they're the ones whose business has flourished. So, with think of this as something like that. If your business is already using AI, then I think, in connection to what Dace also said earlier, uh, it's a gold rush. So if you're using AI already, definitely your business will benefit from this AI.
I guess for one message, let's change Scale Shift podcast show name to Gold Rush AI. Not just wait.
Why
So
not?
yeah. So yeah. For me, I guess it's more of really like one message is it's well number one. It's obviously never too late. It's never ever. We're like on the early stage, and then again, Doms has been doing AI and chatbots work. I do automations, go high level work for seven figure agencies. Days has been doing it both for SMEs and startup. I guess one of the things, and this is something that can be shared for the next episodes, we've experienced basically how things on the automations, AI, and operations side look like for bigger companies. Like in my case, I got clients who's been already making like 70, 80, 100K MRR. Monthly recurring revenue is what I mean by MRR. And these are like best practices, which basically we've built and can be converted as a template for the new agency owners. So imagine us trio having that kind of experience. In my case, working with marketing agencies, both from 20K, 10K MRR. I've got clients on that level. I've also got clients on 100K MRR mark. We've already got templates. All we got to do is to bring that to the smaller agency owners, also to bring that to the Philippine business owners who has not been doing too much AI and automations yet. That's times three, multiplied by three, because it's the three of us. Like I said, they's got experience on doing or working with corp companies and startup companies, and so was Kuya Doms on the AI and chatbot side. So what I'm trying to say here is that we're too early, and while we are very very early, we are early adopters. Even our client are early adopters themselves. Um, like I said, we just have to clone, template the framework, and execute it. So,
Yes.
yeah, so we've covered from audit to potential, like to creating a framework to potential execution. And that would be the several topics that we will be discussing for this podcast show. Like I said, it's not only the three of us. We will be also inviting seasoned agency owners in the Philippines. So they've worked as like they've started as online freelancers as well. Up until they are also running their own agencies right now. Most likely, we will be also inviting like operators as
Yes.
well, AI experts, and most likely we will be also getting people from the US. These are agency owners. They may be starting on a 20K monthly recurring revenue mark up to 70 or like seven-figure agency. So the goal here really is to build this as a community, build this as an ecosystem where we share best practices, where we also discern and decipher
Yeah.
how we will be helping out with each other, regardless whether which stage of the company you are, regardless whether you're the agency owner or you're the operator, and regardless whether you're located in the Philippines, in the US, UK, or anywhere else. In addition to that, we'll be also getting service providers as well. So most likely these are, white label marketing agencies, virtual assistant agencies, even BPOs globally. So I guess that's it. That's a wrap for the first episode.
All right.
Yes, it is. You
All
want
right,
to
so-
follow along for more.
Yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you were able to get value from this podcast show. And there's just a lot more that we
can
would love to
discuss.
share. Again, this is Cody.
This is Days.
And this is Dominic.
And this
This
is
is
the
Skill
Skill Shift
Shift
Ops
Podcast
Podcast Show. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.